What if I told you that two of the most controversial stories of this decade, the silent, hidden world of Jeffrey Epstein's secrets and the rising political tensions in America, are now crossing paths in ways nobody expected? What if newly released documents, political pressure, and unanswered questions are finally pushing the truth toward the surface? Today, we break down everything. What the new Epstein emails reveal, why both political parties are terrified, and how the global narrative around power, justice, and corruption is shifting right in front of us. In recent weeks, new Epstein-related emails were released by members of the U.S. House Oversight Committee. These emails don't prove a direct crime, but they raise questions powerful people hoped would never surface again. One email mentions Donald Trump being at Epstein's residence for hours with a woman who was later identified as a victim. Another email references conversations between Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell about well-known individuals visiting properties connected to them. Democrats claim these documents suggest Trump knew more about Epstein's behavior than he admitted. Republicans argue the emails mean nothing and accuse Democrats of using a decades-old scandal as a distraction. The truth? These emails don't answer the biggest questions. They raise new ones. This isn't only about Trump. It's not only about Democrats. Epstein's network was bipartisan. His social circle included billionaires, politicians, scientists, celebrities, CEOs, people from all sides. The real fear is not the emails, because the full files include visitor logs, phone records, private flight manifests, financial transactions, confidential testimonies, emails from hundreds of powerful individuals. Both Democrats and Republicans know when the full list becomes public, some careers will end overnight. Not one party, both. Recently, Democrats gained enough signatures to force a vote requiring the Department of Justice to release ALL Epstein files. One newly sworn-in congresswoman from Arizona provided the final signature, making the vote unavoidable. Her words were powerful. Survivors deserve justice. The American people deserve truth. If the vote passes, the DOJ will be forced to release everything, not just selective leaks. And that is exactly why political pressure is exploding. When questioned, Trump dismissed the documents as Epstein hoaxes, accusing Democrats of using the topic to cover their failures during the government shutdown. His team claims the emails were taken out of context. He banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. He had no involvement in Epstein's crimes. But reporters pressed harder. If you want the files released, why didn't your administration release them earlier? It's a question his administration still hasn't answered clearly. In a surprising move, Republicans released more than 20,000 documents connected to the Epstein estate, everything from property records to financial logs. Their message was basically, if Democrats want transparency, here you go, now release the rest. But again, no smoking gun, just more questions. The public is divided. Some believe Trump was involved. Others believe he tried to expose Epstein. Some think Democrats are weaponizing the case. Others think Republicans are protecting people. But everyday Americans are asking a simpler question. If both sides want the files released, why have they been hidden for decades? The answer? Because Epstein wasn't just a criminal. He was a connector, a man who provided access, influence, power, and silence. And exposing him fully would expose others. While US media focuses on Trump, the rest of the world is asking different questions. European intelligence agencies have said for years that Epstein had connections beyond the US. British courts continue to investigate Ghislaine Maxwell and her network. Reports suggest intelligence agencies may have monitored Epstein not to stop him, but to use him. Former intelligence officers have publicly hinted that Epstein might have been used as leverage, a blackmail system targeting influential individuals across the globe. In other words, this is bigger than US politics. It's a global web. The Epstein case isn't haunting politicians because of what happened in the past. It's haunting them because of what the documents might reveal about political corruption, human trafficking networks, foreign intelligence involvement, abuse of power, financial crimes, hidden partnerships, unexplained money trails, This could be one of the biggest political earthquakes in modern history. The truth is simple. Nobody knows what's inside the full Epstein files. If the vote passes, we may finally see them. But one thing is certain, whatever is inside will shake not only politicians, but institutions, businesses, and global relationships. But behind all this political drama, one question still hangs in the air, untouched and unanswered. How did Epstein build a network so powerful that it still shakes governments years after his death? No politician wants to answer it. No agency wants to talk about it. No media house wants to fully investigate it, because answering this question exposes a reality that the world is not ready for. Epstein was not operating alone. He was part of a system powerful people needed, a system that protected him until it didn't. Former intelligence officials from the US, UK, and even Israel have hinted at something deeper, something darker. Multiple reports suggest Epstein may have been acting as a handler or asset in exchange for protection. That's not a conspiracy. Declassified documents reveal the CIA, FBI, and foreign agencies have historically used businessmen, journalists, bankers, even criminals as assets to gather information, influence decisions, or create leverage. If Epstein was part of something like this, releasing the full files wouldn't just expose politicians. It could expose intelligence operations, foreign relationships, and diplomatic deals made behind closed doors. That's why the files are so radioactive. And then there's Ghislaine Maxwell, the gatekeeper of Epstein's circle. In her trial, she named no names. She exposed no clients. She protected everyone. Why? Because even she knows once the list is revealed, the damage is irreversible. Powerful families, elite businessmen, royalty, tech billionaires, political dynasties, people with enough influence to bury stories for decades. Her silence isn't loyalty, it's survival. For years, people believed this case belonged to the tabloids. A scandal, a gossip story, not anymore. The public now understands the truth. This is not about one man. This is about an entire system of power and exploitation. Millions of Americans and people worldwide now demand transparency. Across social media, forums, news, comment sections, you can feel the shift. Release everything, no more protecting elites. Justice for survivors. This time, the public is not distracted. The pressure is real. If the House vote passes and the DOJ releases everything, here's what will happen immediately. Media meltdown news networks will run 24/7 coverage. Names trending globally, celebrities, CEOs, politicians. International investigations, UK, France, Brazil, and more, will reopen cases. Legal fallout lawsuits, arrests, resignations. Financial markets shaken if top corporate leaders are implicated. Political chaos, both parties scrambling to manage damage. Political chaos, both parties scrambling to manage damage. Public anger, demanding accountability from everyone involved. This won't be a normal news cycle. This will be historical. But here's the other scenario, the one most politicians hope for quietly. If the DOJ delays, if agencies push back, if the files are redacted or partially released, if excuses begin piling up, then the public will understand something even more disturbing. Someone is still protecting Epstein's network. Someone still has the power to hide the truth. And someone is still afraid of these names being exposed. The backlash will be massive. Protests, congressional fights, investigations into investigators, because people are done being fooled. Most scandals fade. This one hasn't faded in 20 years. Why? Because the truth was never revealed. Every document release leads to more questions. Every leak exposes more connections. Every testimony points to someone bigger. This story refuses to die because the system it exposes still exists. Amid all the politics, power, and secrets, there are real victims, real survivors, whose stories were buried for decades. Women who were ignored, voices that were silenced, lives changed forever. For them, this file isn't about politics. It's about closure. It's about finally being heard. And it's about justice long overdue. We are approaching a point of no return. Whichever way this goes, release or cover up history is watching. The world is no longer innocent. People know too much. Social media has made silence impossible. Leaks are unavoidable. Whether politicians like it or not, the truth will come out. The only question is, will it come through Congress? Through a whistleblower? Through leaked files? Or through someone who finally decides enough is enough? In our next investigation, we'll dive into something even deeper. Why were so many billionaires, scientists, and world leaders connected to Epstein? And what were they really doing together? Because once you understand the connections, you'll understand why this case shakes the world to its core. But here's the part almost no one talks about. The Epstein case isn't just about crimes. It isn't just about corruption. It's about a network of influence that reached governments, intelligence agencies, Wall Street power players, global corporations, royal families, and international institutions. This wasn't a scandal built overnight. It was a system that operated quietly for decades, protected, funded, and hidden by people who benefited from it. For the first time, people are seeing the blueprint of how elite power works. Relationships built behind closed doors, favors exchanged without records, and silence bought at a very high price. The powerful miscalculated one thing. This isn't the early 2000s anymore. This isn't a world where scandals disappear in newspapers or get buried by press conferences. Today, every document gets leaked, every screenshot survives forever, every lie gets exposed online, and millions of people analyze evidence in real time. For the first time in history, the public has the tools to investigate the investigators. That's why this moment is different. This time, the truth isn't controlled by the powerful, it's hunted by the people. So as we move closer to the full release of the Epstein Files, whether through Congress, the DOJ, or future leaks, prepare yourself for one thing: the truth will not be clean. It will not be simple, and it will not be comfortable. Some names will shock people. Some explanations will raise more questions, and some stories will force the world to confront how deep corruption can run. But one thing is certain, this case is no longer about Epstein. It's about a system finally being exposed, a system that survived on silence, a system that cannot survive the light. And this is only the beginning. Because the deeper we dig, the more we realize that the Epstein Files are not the final chapter. They are the opening page. Stay tuned, stay aware, and stay ready, because the truth is coming, whether the world wants it or not.